Okay, everybody, let's welcome Tyrrell, Hatton, that's Tyrrell with 2 R's and 2 L's, and Jon Rahm, the captain of Legion 13. Welcome, guys. You guys both had incredible rounds today. Jon, you shot an 8 under, and Tyrrell, you shot a 7 under. You're in the lead, 3 ahead of John Catlin. Amazing rounds from you both. Can you tell me a little bit about your day? Start with you, Tyrrell.
Yeah, so you got off to a little bit of a slow start in terms of scoring through the first 11 holes. It's a little bit scruffy tee to green in places, and yeah, it was nice to hold that putt on 12, and then obviously chipping in on 13 is a bonus. Although I wasn't that far away from the hole, it's still so you just kind of want to make 3 and move on. And hole in a long putt on 14, so I definitely had momentum on my side and carried that through to the finish. So very happy with how the back 9 played out.
And Jon?
Besides my starting hole of the day, where I just got a little unlucky with my lie on the bunker, the next 17 holes was really good golf. I mean, 9 under. Never really was out of position. Really, really happy and comfortable with the way I drove it. I was pretty much, I can't remember if I missed the fairway after that first hole and gave myself a lot of chances, and didn't really do anything wrong after that. Just had plenty of looks and made a couple long putts on 9 and 11. There were bonuses and took care of the rest. I needed a round like that to get close to the lead. Obviously, Tyrrell finished fantastic. There's still a little bit of work to do tomorrow, but I definitely needed. I knew I could do it, and it was nice to get going quickly on the round to shoot a loose goal score.
So your injury completely healed now. Obviously, you're feeling great out there.
I wouldn't say completely, but this is I played nearly 18 holes pain-free. So, I mean, that's probably why I hit it so much better. Yesterday it bugged me a little bit, and it's just in the back of your head for a second. At least it was yesterday, but not today. Never really questioned, not being able to swing it, and I think that's what made the difference.
Tyrrell, you're in position tomorrow to take home your very first LIV Golf individual championship. Are you going to have a little bit of extra nerves on that first tee tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, I'll probably be a little bit nervous tomorrow, but I'd say that's a good thing. Obviously, if you're nervous about something, you generally care about it. So, yeah, it doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to go out there and try my best on every single shot, which I've exactly the same as what I've done the last 2 days. So that's all I can do tomorrow, and I'll try and put together a good round of golf.
Not sure if you've ever been able to watch the LIV broadcast before, but people will tweet in things about the players and what's going on. And somebody tweeted in that they hope that you win tomorrow because your presser would be so entertaining. I tend to agree, but are you aware of how beloved you are by the people? I mean, people really, really love you.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just being myself and saying, I guess, what comes into my head, albeit surprising for a few people sometimes, but obviously, it'd be nice to have some support tomorrow, and I'm sure the crowds will be good out there, and I'll be excited for the challenge.
Last hard-hitting question from me. You guys both chose country songs as your walk-up songs this week. Are we going to see that trend continue post-Nashville, Jon?
Yeah, and I think we both have the same artist tomorrow, I believe. So, yeah.
How was the party hole today?
It was good. It's always tricky when you have, some sort of distance control wedge, and then you have a song that you like in the atmosphere, right? You almost need to control it, take the adrenaline into account, which is not something we deal with very often. So you just got to make sure you're counting a couple extra yards on that shot. But it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere. It's fun to be around, and it's always incredible to hear the cheers and how much fun everybody's having, right? Because just on that area, 14, 17, 16, and 15 it's a good vibe.
Love it. Mike?
Tyrrell, when you were going through that stretch of pars, did you feel your patience being tested at all?
Most things test my patience, so I mean, I feel like the last couple of weeks I've tried to be a little bit better. I'd say last week it was easier to be more accepting of certain things, but around this golf course, I mean, if you hit the ball good, you're going to have a lot of opportunities for birdies. So you don't want to be making too many pars. I mean, it was kind of okay in the end, but I guess tomorrow I wouldn't want to be stringing 10 pars in a row. Obviously, when you're being chased, so. Yes, my patience was tested.
And last Sunday aside, did you feel like you've been trending really for the last few months? Did you feel like this kind of performance was going to come along sooner rather than later?
Well, no, to be honest. I think with how I felt in the practice rounds last week, I wasn't sure if I'd even break 80 come Thursday. So, yeah, golf's a weird game. I just had a good feeling on my practice swing on the first hole on Thursday last week, and then I hit it straight down the middle and just went with that and tried to take that into this week. Not think too much about Sunday's round. That was just a bit of a freak day. And yeah, I'll try and do that again tomorrow.
And John, when you were here earlier this week, you weren't really sure it seemed like you weren't really sure how things would play out this week with the injury. Are you a bit surprised at all that you've been, especially today's round?
Yes and no. I hit balls in my simulator at home on Monday before flying on Tuesday, and I had the speed. The only question was walking 18. Right, and yesterday towards the last 4 or 5 holes, I started to notice that a little bit, and but today kind of adjusted, try to hydrate a little bit more early in the morning, and maybe get a little bit more food in me to account for that, and feel like I did a pretty good job at mitigating that though, and I feel like the more I play, the more comfortable I'm gonna get with it. So I'm always confident I can shoot low. I just didn't know how it was going to play out.
And one last question from me. Obviously, you've dealt with a post-major win hangover, or whatever you might want to call it. How impressed are you with what Bryson's been able to do this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed. It's especially taking into account that he went and did the whole New York news show, right? I didn't do that, and playing the week after in Hilton Head was quite difficult and tiring. But we saw Scotty win the week afterwards this year, and Bryson seems to be a guy that naturally has a lot of energy, so I would never question him being able to perform, but I think it becomes more a mental thing, right? Can you focus on still playing good golf even though you've accomplished something incredible, right? I think he's in good enough shape physically that he can handle it. It's just being able to do it mentally. And we actually mentioned that during the round. I think one of the things that is never really talked about enough about people, like players obviously like Tiger or Jack, is the fact that they were able to win multiple majors in a season consistently. And I don't think most people understand how demanding that is mentally just to get that done. The media obligations you have afterwards, right? And other wins amongst all those things, right? So, it's definitely impressive to see what some other players have been able to do.
Tyrrell, it's a decision that you made a few months ago, but needing to ask about it. Your decision to opt out of being considered for the Olympics, what went into that process? And at this point, the way you're playing, any thoughts that maybe wish you could take that back?
I think it goes off world rankings anyway, doesn't it? So with the cutoff being last week and where I finished, I wouldn't have qualified anyway. So no, I mean, I sort of made that decision earlier in the year anyway, that I wouldn't have been playing. yeah, I wish the guys all like the best of luck that go and represent Team GB, but yeah, it just wasn't for me.
Red?
Hi, Tyrrell. I followed you most of the day, and you seem to have a few loose drives, yet when you stepped up to 16, you still pulled driver. Was that always in your game plan today with that forward tee? What went into that decision?
I didn't know it was forward until I got there. So I just walked around the corner of 15 and was like, oh, it's forwards. And you just carry on and stand on the tee, like, I'm just going to hit driver, and off we go. Yeah, nothing to it, yeah.
Right there?
Tyrrell, obviously, big day for you. What do you feel like are this course's kind of defining characteristics? And I know you had a really good day, but what's the hardest hole for you? What's been the most challenging hole for you so far?
I think probably the most awkward tee shot is 6. Just where we're driving the ball, it kind of narrows a little bit, and as you have the water down the left. So I'd say that's probably the most awkward tee shot. Outside of that, it's fairly. I'd say the golf course is fairly forgiving off the tee. There's not a huge amount of rough. I mean, so I went in a few hazards today, but I was able to still hit the ball out of them. So maybe I just got lucky today, but I mean, I don't want to be doing that tomorrow. So hopefully we'll just be in the fairway.
John, same question to you. Is there a hole that you find maybe awkwardly suits your eye, or anything that's been especially challenging?
I wouldn't say there's any of this awkward. 6 because you have hazard in play, obviously. Can be a little trickier. 7 as well. Downwind today, it's if you hit driver down the right half of the fairway, you could get close to the edge. But it's a golf course, but it said is not the most challenging of the tee, right? I think the defense of the golf course is obviously the greens. There's quite a few slopes in most of them, and they can tuck the pins quite a bit. But when you have some of the best players in the world in those Soja fairways, where it's basically on a tee every single time, we're going to be fairly confident trying to be aggressive and have plenty of birdie chances, right? So I think the defense, if there ever were to do something, we maybe play it a little bit longer. A couple of the holes there's one more tee behind the third hole. We played the up tee on 5. Although I don't know how else you play 5 if you don't play it on the up tee. And just there's a few too many short irons in that, if you change that somehow, it might be a little bit more challenging. But the main thing would be the greens, right? Otherwise, it's also in absolute perfect conditions, right? I mean, the ball's rolling so good on the greens that it's, as a player, is what you want to see, right? Knowing that if you hit a good putt, it's definitely going to have a really good chance of going in.
Okay, last one right here.
Tyrrell, you spoke a little bit about your frustration after 12 yesterday. You bogeyed it. Today you birdied it. What did you see differently today?
Well, yesterday I sniped it off the tee, which landed on the cart path and went in the hazard. So instantly you're kind of struggling. Although I actually tried my best to do that again today. I hit it so far out the toe. And I don't know how this thing flew straight, to be honest. It was like a knuckleball, but it went a long way down there. And, yeah, the difference was being in the fairway. I've got gap wedge today, whereas yesterday I'm dropping and trying to chip an 8-iron under the trees and get it somewhere up by the green. That's probably another one, going back to a previous question, like that. For some reason, that tee shot doesn't really suit my eye. I whiffed it in the hazard in a practice round, and then I whiffed one right in the Pro-Am. So, yeah, I feel pretty comfortable when I'm on that tee. It's lovely.
Guys, it'll be an awesome battle tomorrow between the two of you. I'm looking forward to it. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.